Hello, it's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I'm Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, the ladies are with me. Hello. YK in the building after 2 weeks.
No, it was 1 week. It was only last week.
It always looks like 1 week. It always looks like one.
In this your old age, you want to be lying. It's not good.
It looks like. How are you doing, YK?
Fine. I you come.
YK. We used it yesterday. We didn't announce it like this.
Don't mind this. You know, I didn't have cup because
Fred Abba, right?
Freddie Abba. Yeah.
Freddie Abba, thank you so much for the mug.
Thank you so much.
You forgot to thank him yesterday. Thank you so much, Freddie.
Mugs.
I look at. You know me, I didn't have cup. You know, all of you don't have two. Me, I have one.
Anyway, how are you doing, YK?
So maybe before I come back, they will have.
I know you're traveling soon, right?
That's why I had to
do
make sure.
Omugwo.
No, not Omugwo. Now it's
Okay, second phase.
She's going back to work. So I want to help her because nannies are so expensive. Yeah. Poor girl hasn't worked for a year. So let me just help her out a bit.
That's good.
This is my thumb will not get mended, Abby.
You didn't go again now.
I didn't. No, I didn't go. Meanwhile, I saw this guy last week, the band. And his mother, with his mother, and his mother watches our show. She sends her greetings to everybody.
Oh, that's nice.
She loves the show and said, he must come on the show. He must go on that show. I love that show.
He's with that show. I'm sure producers
so hopefully he will.
Too hot. Sorry.
I've known Mariah in years. I've never seen you have this happen.
This one burns my tongue.
Sorry.
Auntie, oh hot.
Oh hot, gone. Sorry.
Anyway,
you as we shot. They always wonder what Mariah does, and I say Mariah takes it straight from the fire. There's cooler in her mouth.
This one is extremely hot. Anyways, how you doing, Nima?
Entered her breast milk.
Anyway, how you doing, Nima?
I'm fine. So my pictures came on the roads. So my documentary is getting together.
Oh, nice.
30 pictures. Thank you, Ngige Photos. I had to get a guy to do this. And we were afraid of touts beating him up and everything, but he was able to get it yesterday.
Did he use a, because some of the pictures are from above.
He went to some of the buildings high.
That's nice.
While waiting for...
So how do you want to show this on TV? How do you plan to do it?
Don't worry. I have my guys around waiting to use these pictures in all main media to, to project what is the situation.
Okay, good.
You won't show it on your view first. You share.
Of course, now.
Charity begins at home.
It's not from here. You I should go and get photos.
Yes, now.
It's from here now.
No misbehave.
No.
How are you doing, Obiajulu? This is your hair. YK, have you seen her hair?
Oh, YK.
Then you have guts to use this kind of hair when YK is on the show. You have serious... How are you doing, though?
I'm doing great.
Your hair looks beautiful.
Thank you so much. I come in every morning and I have this running stomach because when I leave the house very early, my stomach is not settled. And I've been missing a lot in the makeup room because YK, anytime she comes with breakfast. So today I said, I don't care about the stomach. I'm going to eat this akara and bread. And I'm feeling so full.
Reduce some people's ration.
YK has been bringing akara and bread for all of us every morning in the makeup room.
I enjoyed myself today.
Akara and bread is different from
Your
akara
egbe are bringing pancakes and eggs. You're bringing
akara and very hot agege bread that you use only the inside.
Aye.
You can imagine the ration these people shorting for me. I'm not watching anything.
I just ate half. What's it?
YK, since Obiajulu has put us out like that in public, please don't buy for her.
We are
again.
Nigerian women. We eat akara and bread. That's our
And she also bought
She also brought the thing that we have been doing jejely.
akara. Obiajulu did not make promotion enough. The palm oil one.
Akara was really nice.
Really nice. I didn't take the palm oil.
Nice.
You
I like
use the palm oil.
I don't like palm oil. I don't like
well peppered, but
I don't like palm oil. I think it just way too much.
It was nice.
But the karaka was really nice.
It was nice. I had fun.
And when you sandwich it with the bread,
please,
not any kind of bread, agege bread.
Because of this,
that's your view breakfast.
Make akara for us, don't give us food.
So our mates are eating pancakes and eggs.
Excuse me.
You are giving us
we're eating balanced diet.
I'm telling
kind of
you.
food.
High protein, everything high balance. And pepper inside.
Okay, please, next time.
Everything is coming inside the belly. The belly is getting bigger and bigger.
Please.
And my stomach is settled.
Next time, so we don't disgrace you like this, get us some nice English breakfast.
Please, don't give them waffles. Are big waffles.
Okay, let's go to break. Actually,
it's
it's Tuesday. There's a lot happening in the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay. Let's start with the nation. Ngige to Wamako and Yari I want to hear from Buhari. Pressure on APC to zone Deputy Speaker to North Central. Wike PDP governors disagree over House Minority Leader. Picture here of the Nigerian Air Force in a display during the 2019 NAF parade. You know when I watch foreign movies and announce your own, I'm like, oh God, please calm down.
On is dull.
Over 20 states likely to pay minimum wage. Ondo police arrest suspected arsonist. Court stops Saraki on invasion report. And Lagos Assembly passes 873 billion naira budget. This budget keeps increasing. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Ondo police arrest an arsonist.
Yes,
what
so this guy, Deji Adenuga, is suspected arsonist, allegedly sets ablaze 8 members of his ex-girlfriend's family.
Okay, we talked about that now.
Yes, so he's going to be paraded today.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's basically it. So they'll parade him today.
Well, apparently he had escaped from jail in 2013 for killing his wife in 2012.
Oh my Lord.
Syria
Oh my goodness.
So, well, hopefully he won't escape this time.
Exactly, since they're
The
parading him
blood is
already.
placed on TVC. I think they showed the arrest.
I wonder why
No,
they
on
blood is
another channel I watched, I saw his face. But that's the way it's supposed to be. What TVC did is that's the way it's supposed to be. Because you're innocent until you're proven guilty.
You know, we're international
Human
standards.
rights and
We do
everything.
international standard. We don't do.
I know.
local standard.
I've noticed TVC. They've
You know
gone
we now,
nuclear.
we are.
Nuclear.
You can't try us. Anyways, let's take one more story. Like, let's move on actually, because all the other stories are in other papers. Daily Sun. Another recession coming. Governors warn. Yari NGF chair gives mid-2020 to 2021 as next period of economic decline. Federal government has spent 1.1 trillion on bailout, says Osinbajo. Saudi drug cartel. Buhari directs AGF to intervene in Zainab's case. Alleged bribery, Bauchi governor-elect, arraignment stalled. Senate leadership, Abia APC caucus backs Kalu for their DSP. Anambra, we killed Nemo PG for banishing our gang suspect. Say suspect, actually. Okay, the major headline. Another recession coming. Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Or the Zainab story.
You go.
Go ahead.
The chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, has warned the governors and every other person to prepare for recession, which is coming as is going to be a cycle of recession coming, which will be lasting from 2020 to mid-2020 to 2021. And he is saying that we need more ways to generate internal revenue in the state. That borrowing is not a reliable alternative.
I think he was just.
I
don't think he's authorized to say that. I think he was just trying to buttress the vice president's point, which was trying to tell us that we should look for other ways to generate revenue.
Yes.
He was trying to just, so according to the president, I'll come to you, Waiki, according to the president, we have to look into agriculture, all the states, the way they were billing us out every time, calling for the Paris bailout funds. That's not likely to happen anymore. You need to look internally, provide broadband so that young people can actually do business from anywhere in the world, and take advantage of what the government is investing in agriculture so that you can develop your own revenue.
I watched it on the news, and it said our health budget is less than that of relatively South Sudan. So I think, but that one, my own is it today that they know that they need to generate more funds?
No,
exactly.
And when they want to
lip
you see what
service.
pains me inside this matter is, when they want to start to generate funds, it's us that they will come and tax.
Yes.
And the vice president has warned them that they shouldn't overtax us.
I'd like that Yari talks to the governors, of course, that, of course, they cut costs.
Yes.
Because, yes, we've gone through recession before, and people are already, conditioned to manage. But these governors have a flamboyant lifestyle.
So I think it makes sense that first, let us see you cut your own costs.
Exactly.
And we have to actually also acknowledge that the governor of Bayelsa State actually did not.
It's in the papers.
It's in the papers. Yes, we're getting there.
Let's think about the Saudi.
I wanted this Saudi case. So the Zainab Aliyu's case, the special advisor to the president on diaspora, when she was here, mentioned the case of this girl and 2 other innocent people. So 3 innocent people whose luggage this cartel planted drugs in. According to her media aide, Abdraman Balogun, they've been able to uncover the cartel within the Malam Aminu Kano airport, where they find somebody with a small luggage and attach a luggage full of banned substances in Saudi.
No, it was
it could be
tramadol.
anything. This was tramadol. And this innocent girl kept saying she didn't know. We've been able to uncover on the Nigerian side her innocence. And now the president has compelled that the AG makes that case very strongly in Saudi Arabia so that we at least get her.
Hopefully.
She's been detained in Saudi in their facilities there.
Let's move on now to Vanguard. Federal government faults United Nations agency over Nigeria's population figures. The Nigerian population is now, according to the UN Population Fund, we're now 201 million people. UNFPA report says is a mere assumption based on the 2006 census. Okay, FG bans study centers, satellite campuses. Boko Haram fighters get $3,000 daily. Nigerian troops get 1,000 naira daily, says presidential committee. How is that possible? Senate to pass 2019 budget day today. Traders shun toxic for more selling in Lagos. You know, I looked for that story yesterday.
Yes, it's
or is
now
there
there
today? Okay.
today,
2023 general elections. INEC, Army, NSCDC clash over proposal for electronic voting. Another recession looms. We talked about that already. Onoge, Buhari not dictating how to run judiciary, says Supreme Court. Let's start with the Pomo story because my husband likes Pomo.
Yeah, the Pomo story. Apparently the meat that comes in is actually camel meat, and to preserve it, they use chemicals. I forgot the name of the toxic chemical. I've forgotten the name of the chemical. I'll look for it here. And so the traders have said no, they're not selling it. That one is bigger. And so they get more profits. When they get it, it's bigger, so they get more profits. But they're not selling it again.
How do you know the difference between the camel Pomo and the cow
Say
Pomo?
that one is bigger, then it's smoother. When you touch it, it's more...
For real? No, there's this thick one they sell in Lagos.
No,
Those thick ones.
there's cow head.
Not cow head.
Not cow head.
There's
I know what I'm
cow
talking
head,
about.
but this
There's this
one
Pomo that is thick.
that is swollen.
And long.
Like
Even
swollen.
then,
Is that camel?
I've always stayed off it.
that
I
camel?
don't even know. I
We
didn't
don't know, but
I've always
we
stayed off it
eat
because they said there's a camel, something that they used to make it puffy. So I stay off that one. I go straight for cow head.
They say it's the same
They
thing
use
they use.
carbide, yeah.
They say it's the same thing they use for fruits.
Yeah, to
and
preserve
that they are dangerous
bananas.
it actually kills us slowly.
In fact, I'm not
Just
eating Pomo
Pomo
again.
for now,
And
Fabi.
stockfish.
But I've already
Oh,
bought
you
Pomo.
eat it?
Actually, I don't like
I
it.
do.
My husband likes
I
it.
do. I've already bought
You don't
I
eat
put it in my
Pomo?
okra and
I've
Efo
already
and all
bought
that.
Pomo plenty, and I've used it. I've not died, so my own is safe.
Anyways,
Okay, I can't imagine soup without it.
okay, let me take one more
But I
story.
wanted to
We
take
have
the
two more
federal
stories
government
here.
banning satellite campuses. So the federal government again has come out while they were awarding 20 new polytechnics, colleges of health, science and technologies, and some other new schools. They gave them approval to run. They stating again that they banned all satellite campuses and that they would not recognize the certificates from these satellite campuses or recognize them for NYSC. I'm saying that this inconsistency. Abroad, satellite campuses and long-distance learning centers are recognized. They assist people who have a deficit of schooling and school fees to have a job as well as be able to run long-distance learning centers for school. This inconsistency with the policies of government around this is going to confuse people. Some people already have certificates that they're working with from satellite campuses, and now you're banning and withdrawing. And
they are saying employment as well,
I think
and
they should
even
look into it
promotion. So if
more.
you have certificates from such,
Anyway,
you may not get promoted in your
This major headline of the United Nations telling us how many our population numbers, and our people are saying that it's based on the 2006 population census that we took.
That's the estimate of growth.
So
they just calculated
the breakdown is there.
They are saying that fertility has dropped now.
Who?
The Nigerian
The Nigerian people.
They are the ones that know.
We're still having
Maybe
children
they have put
They are
something inside
not in
our
the mother
water.
and child centers. The way we are delivering babies.
every day.
There's no bed. Though.
It's just like the $3,000 a day that they said that the presidency, somebody from the presidency said that
Yes.
the Boko Haram are collecting.
Every day.
When I read it, I was like,
It's multiplied 3,000.
are you part of the people collecting the money? How do you know?
$3,000.
No, it's not Boko Haram that's collecting. It's not. No, sorry, it's Boko Haram. It's not the Nigerian troops. The Nigerian troops are getting 1,000 naira.
Nigerian troops is
We can't say
1,000.
till we investigate.
And the person that said it, see Boko Haram,
Please
that she has been receiving that money.
calculate $3,000
A day.
How much is that? 3,000. How much?
That's
A week
Why-
is
why is somebody
$21,000.
not
A week
going
is
to join Boko Haram?
$21,000 a month. A week.
A week. So why would
Times
somebody
4.
not go and join Boko Haram?
$1,000 is 360.
I bet.
times?
I mean, you will not go and join.
YK.
Thank you.
Let's not trivialize
Oh,
this
God.
national security issue,
Morayo,
please.
the comedy in it is why
Moving
we're
on-
laughing.
moving on to The
Such
Guardian.
an hilarious estimate.
Very comical situation. Okay. The Guardian. You know, we Nigerians can take anything. So they just throw these figures out and say, we take it
We're
like that.
easy,
Yeah,
we're easy.
just take
$1
it.
a day.
We are easy.
Boko Haram. And you see how when they catch them, they're all like this. Do they look like someone that
look wretched.
people that have
Hungry
collected?
The Guardian. Senate orders Minister Agency to return 14.3 billion to Treasury. Right. Dixon declines assent to the life pension for Bayelsa lawmakers. Please, let's clap for our president, our governor, Bayelsa
We
State.
try.
Because you are listening to the people.
Hey, listen.
Yes. 6 killed in Burkina
a wise
Faso
man.
church attack. Boko Haram let me read it again for those of you that missed it. Boko Haram fighters receive over $1 million naira. At least this one converted it for us.
Yes.
What was it? This one converted it.
3,000.
Over $1 million naira daily. Our soldiers get 1,000 naira. PDP INEC differ on alleged replacement of post servers. Okay, so let's talk about Dixon.
Major, okay.
Which one? The major headline. Go ahead, the Treasury.
The major headline. So the Senate has ordered the Minister for Industry, Trade and Investment, Okechukwu Enelama, and the acting managing director of the Nigerian Export Processing Zones Authority. These two agencies were said to have diverted 4.3 billion from the 2017 budget without appropriation. They had warehoused the said amount at the CBN, and within this committee's work, they were supposed not to have moved the money, and it was moved just in a very short time. Within 3 days, it was moved. So the Senate has ordered that money be returned to the Treasury. What's that called?
TSA.
The TSA. So, I want to follow up this case seriously because it's possible that the corruption there will be uncovered, just like the Senate uncovered the grass cutting allegations.
But the NEMSA boss is insisting that they follow due process.
In warehousing the money, not in moving it out to another agency, a third agency.
Okay, the picture actually in The Guardian caught my attention because the Senate president, I mean, I think there's something about him that just gets me. He just seems like a good guy. I don't know if it's me. Because
Is it because it's fine?
no, because it's...
Please, can I see the picture?
I like
you are
that
saying
question.
he looks
No,
like
because I
it?
feel
No, I
that-
just need to see the picture now.
I just feel like,
Yeah.
you know, this is a man that's been beat down, embarrassed,
Shaken.
you know, shaken.
Went
The
through
Senate
fire.
president.
Just recently beat
Recently beat down, and
Just
he
recently.
he seems to
He's
be
been beating people
altogether.
before.
If
So
you have
please,
money,
let's celebrate
if I have
our-
money, anything you do, I will look, I will look fine.
I'll too chop.
I will look fine.
So let's celebrate
just feel
the
like
Bayelsa State
No
government.
matter what.
Please, let's talk about the
So
Bayelsa State
the
government.
Commissioner
sorry,
for
Julie.
Information came out and said that the governor decided not to sign the bill,
Yes, so.
that the bill is inconsistent with Section 124 of the
Yeah.
Constitution,
Until
and
then.
that they have issues of internally generated revenue, so they shouldn't
Exactly.
be talking
Now you're making sense.
about
Please, let's clap for
increasing,
Bayelsa State.
signing that bill for lawmakers
Well
at the
done,
moment.
sir.
Lawmakers are
Very
entitled
I
to
will
their
give you one
sitting
clap.
allowance. The
At
elected
least,
office
okay,
holders,
when they listen
they
to
don't
us,
have.
let us acknowledge. If not, they just stop listening. At least one person has listened to the people, and he has done what he's
I'm
supposed to
giving
do.
him one clap for listening.
Let's wait and see if the
they won't go ahead,
House
veto him.
will veto him.
Okay.
So true.
I want to see them
They won't
try
do
it.
that. They won't do that.
They didn't do public hearing for this.
Exactly, it was
They
rushed.
didn't do public
It
hearing.
was rushed. That was the problem.
Selfish people.
I'm glad that people spoke out. I'm
Nima,
glad people spoke
choose
out.
your words carefully. They can arrest you.
He's selfish now. They're protecting only their interest in
Okay,
a
final paper
country
this
full of
day.
hungry
Collecting
people.
500,000 a month.
Only.
For life.
Not working.
For life.
It's not selfish. It's only.
It's Tuesday.
It's not your hot topic.
It's not a hot topic. Exactly. Let us focus on this day. I
wish
wanted
it
to read
was.
this paper. Oh. We talked about it yesterday, Waike. Don't
I
worry.
know I watched now.
Fashola seeks elongation of Works Minister's tenure. I really wish I read that story. Because I asked him that question. I was telling you, it wasn't as if it's the president's discretion. We will not seek longest delegation here. Anyway, brace for new minimum wage payments. Yoshimbajo tells governors. Hundreds missing as bandits block Kaduna-Abuja highway. We didn't talk about this kidnap
That's
story.
the story. So yesterday, at the
Really
Kaduna,
sad.
this is the Kaduna, the major Kaduna highway that was declared safe for all of us to pass. And yesterday, the Universal Basic Education boss and his daughter were kidnapped while his driver was murdered right there and then in the
I
car.
saw the video.
On that highway, a lot of cars were robbed, their properties taken, and a lot of people were kidnapped as well on that highway. If the government refused to look into the situation on that road, before we know it, another major important or personality, like I'll put it, will be picked up from that road. It's been like that forever. The security on that road cannot be ignored. It's getting there. Oh. It's coming around small.
You know, someone tweeted that, please, what is Hell Rufai doing?
Hell Rufai.
He's not in charge of
They will
security.
say it's federal road now.
They will say it's federal road.
And it's security.
Federal. Secure the road.
Anyway,
What's
we
the
have to
stretch
go on
of
a
road?
break.
How
That's
many
all we can
kilometers?
take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we have a lineup of hot topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So recently, we discussed the issues raised by Nigeria's Labour Minister, Chris Ngige, about our professional doctors. He's not worried about how the medical doctors are leaving the country in droves. However, he has come out to refute this statement, saying that he was misconstrued. Today, however, we'll be discussing with our guest the general state of our health sector in Nigeria. The fact that a lot of doctors are actually migrating because, according to them, this country isn't of any help to them. Joining us on the show is a consultant pediatrician and the medical director of Pelon Memorial Hospital, Dr. Ngozi Onyia. Welcome to the show, madam.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
You can join the conversation 07080668014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so there are two things, the state of health and then the doctors living in droves. So two issues we'd like to discuss with you today. In your own view, let's start with the minister's utterances, the fact that they will have lots of doctors, and he has tried to make us understand that what he meant is that out of the 100% of people, doctors graduating, 80%, 20% actually are the ones that are retained, and the 80% is still there, they don't have jobs. So if 20% leaves, you can still have the 80 to do the job. But in your own view, why are doctors leaving, and what can the government do to get them to stay, just like you are staying here?
I like the smile.
I qualified 37 years ago, and I stayed 37 years ago. If I qualify today, will I stay? I don't think so. It's a different country now. There are so many challenges, but I'm sure we were discussing them during the interlude. One of the major ones, the infrastructure of the country, makes it almost impossible to do anything properly, particularly in the healthcare industry. The work environment. I remember I was saying to Yeni the day I met her that as a resident doctor a couple of years ago, I remember having to rush a dehydrated child out of the emergency room, put the child on a table, and set a drip, a line, with the headlamps of my car. Because there was power failure at the point. Thank God I was able to save the child's life. But that's not an uncommon story. People do very unusual things to be able to practice medicine. So I think we just don't have an enabling environment to practice medicine the way we can and the way we should. It's heartbreaking when you see people die avoidable deaths. It's a real heartbreak. You know, if you find out everywhere in the world where they keep statistics, suicide rates are highest among the medical professionals. It's very heart-wrenching. People don't realize how impacted we are by the loss of our patients. And then when they die, when you know you could have saved them if things were just a little different, that can be heartbreaking as well.
If the minister could say exporting professionals was normal, and that we're exporting like Indians are exporting as well, other countries are exporting, is there a proper time? What's the limit that we can reach and say, at this point, we can then export health professionals out of the country? Have we reached that point?
The World Health Organization recommends a ratio of 1 physician to 1,000 in population. The ratio we have in Nigeria today is 1 physician to 5,000. So we are very far from having enough healthcare professionals. We in Lagos tend to think there are lots of healthcare professionals, but you'll find out that a great number, I don't know what the figure is, but it may be up to 70 to 80% of the healthcare practitioners practice either in Lagos or Abuja. So you go to many little towns in Nigeria, there are no doctors there, or very, very few, just one doctor. So we're very far from getting to what is recommended by the World Health Organization.
It brings us back to, the statistics, of course, like you said, 20,000, when they graduate, 20% are mopped into the system, 80% without jobs. Are we saying now that what we don't have is the facility to mop them? We can only, based on the facilities that we have, only 20% of graduates can get somewhere to work?
I don't think so. I don't agree with that.
Facilities?
We have buildings, if those are facilities. However, most people will want to work in an environment where you can self-actualize. Right. And those kind of facilities only exist either in Lagos or Abuja or a few of the big cities. And so you find that everybody is competing for those few facilities, but there are many unmanned facilities.
Yeah, because, sorry, there are many hospitals that they are like mushroom hospitals, and these doctors, and I'm wondering, is this really a hospital? They call them hospitals. They're like clinics, tiny things. They rent a house. Maybe they have 5 rooms with beds, and they call these hospitals.
Are they regulated, these kind of hospitals? Like you're talking about?
In Lagos, yes. There's HEFAMA in Lagos State that regulates hospitals and healthcare.
So I feel, because I was reading some of the research, and it seemed that a lot of these doctors complain that they don't pass their residence exams. It's like there's a deliberate attempt to make them fail. They write for over 4 or 5 times before you pass. And we are saying that we do not have, because I believe we do not have enough doctors. I don't believe that there are so many doctors lying out there without jobs. We do not have enough. So is there any way, because these same doctors travel, they do these kinds of exams outside the country and then they pass easily. So is there like a conspiracy not to give them residency?
No, I don't think so. I don't agree with that. I went with the residency program as well. So it's a very difficult program for good reason, because the minute you become a specialist, a consultant, you become like an authority in yourself. You take final decisions over life and death. So it's a grueling process, but I don't think there's any deliberate process. I failed my residency exam. I'd never failed an exam before then, but I failed my Part 1 exam twice. So, and I didn't feel I was being victimized. It's part of the training.
I want us to have this conversation for the Nigerian doctor, and that's one of the reasons why I want to achieve in this conversation. Because as a Nigerian doctor right now, there's a child out there studying hard in the university, trying to become a doctor, and they're discouraged because when they hear the minister say, hey, let them go, and their parents can't afford, is there hope for that child that is studying to be a medical, and is there still pride in this profession as a doctor in Nigeria, that, I can be a doctor and still be proud of that profession in this country?
Yes, certainly. There's a lot of pride. You see, there's one of the things I didn't mention was reward. Reward is extremely poor in Nigeria for doctors. So doctors in South Africa, the average pay of a doctor in South Africa is 5 times that of a Nigerian doctor. The average pay of a doctor in the US is about 20 times. But one thing we do still have, we have some regard, some esteem in society. So when you go in somewhere and you say you're a doctor, somebody, you get some kind of regard. For that reason.
All of us, we're a barrister, doctor.
When people realize that you're a medical doctor, it does make. So you say I'm doctor. Oh, are you a medical doctor? It makes a big difference, But having said so, the truth is there isn't much prospect for doctors in Nigeria. So most people are. So it's unfortunate, because what our government is doing is training doctors for almost nothing to export them to other countries. Because education is virtually free in Nigeria.
I also know that abroad, people hardly pay for medical bills. They go through the HMOs. That's a huge industry for the doctors. That's how you get paid. The NHIS in Nigeria, I think, is it?
Yes,
they tried so hard to make this scheme work, where people can actually pay. And obviously, if you think about the economy, can people afford to pay this monthly? How do you get paid? You have to pay, I'm not talking about you probably, but how can a doctor be encouraged to know that the government would ensure he gets paid for his services? I know NHIS was one way, but unfortunately it has failed. People can't afford the medical services. So how best would you suggest the doctors be properly paid?
NHIS is still the way to go. Health insurance everywhere in the world, because healthcare is very expensive everywhere in the world for many reasons. Very expensive professionals, healthcare professionals, the equipments are very expensive. So everything about healthcare is expensive all over the world, and you can be impoverished by one single illness. So the way forward is insurance. So we just have to get our insurance right. We haven't gotten it right yet, but we have to get insurance right.
Because I was going to say, this insurance, if I go to a hospital as a private patient and I see a whole line of HMO people, they will answer me first too, because they're going to collect my cash.
Yes.
They will not answer those ones. They will leave them there. They just ignore them.
And it's like that everywhere in the world also.
It's really the same all over the world. If you go to on the NHS, you'll be on a long queue for a surgery, maybe a hip replacement or something. If you go private, you get it the next day. That's the honest truth. So yes, but you see what the health insurance does, that it creates access for those who ordinarily will not be able to access healthcare. It also
Can I ask you a basic question? Why are you here? Why didn't you leave? I know you said you became a doctor 37 years ago. Yeah, but when you see your colleagues earning 20 times in the US, your colleagues in South Africa earning 5 times, how does that make you feel? Don't you feel like, you know what, maybe just pack and go?
To be honest, for the first time, I'm thinking of leaving after 37 years.
Wow.
For the first time. Wow. And, well, I'm thinking very strongly of leaving.
What changed your mind?
Everything. Maybe I was very patriotic yesterday. Sorry, this is a slight digression. I was at the funeral of a patient of mine who's also the father of a classmate. And I saw one of the hymns we were going to sing, which is, I vow to thee, my country. And I said to one of my mates, these were the kind of songs we sang when we were 11 and 12. It's a very good hymn. Look it up, I vow to thee, my country. And we grew up very patriotic. You know, we've had a lot of hope for this country. But finally, I've been very optimistic. I've kept myself optimistic, but now I don't see too much hope.
One last indictment for the Minister for Labour. If, as he said, I don't know, please help me confirm that the study medicine in Nigeria is subsidized highly by government, and if government has a deliberate intention to subsidize this, why is it not geared towards growing that sector within rather than exporting?
I don't think the government has any policy of exporting. The minister spoke a little bit out of turn, and I think he must have regretted what he said. That's the honest truth, considering he's one of us. The government doesn't want to export. We spend
but they're not growing this sector.
We spend $3 billion per annum on medical tourism. $3 billion.
Our president is there right now.
Per annum on medical tourism. So there's no deliberate policy. It's just the same. It's the same problem we have in Nigeria. They haven't gotten it right, and they're not doing what they need to do to get it right.
So what do you think they need to do? Okay. What do you think they need to do?
I think one of the first things that we have to get insurance right. If we can get health insurance right, we can get a huge pool of funds, and then of course corruption. So because even if you get the funds, and the funds and they are not being diverted for the wrong reasons, then we'll have a huge pool of funds on which we can build a good healthcare system. We rank, I think, maybe 3rd or 4th from the bottom in terms of healthcare systems globally. Third, maybe we're like 187 out of 200. Some ridiculous figures like that, you know. The only countries that we rank higher than might be countries like Afghanistan and war-torn countries. That's the honest truth. So I think insurance is the way forward. We need funds. And I think the best way to get the funds would be health insurance. But then they need to they have to get their numbers right. So the premiums have to be calculated correctly. They have to be collected and not diverted. Used for what they should use.
So why has it taken you 37 years for your eyes to clear?
No, I know, like, we're not trying to encourage her to leave. We're trying to encourage her
I'm
to
asking her. She's
for her to break. What broke the camel's back?
Because I met her.
Yeah.
I don't know her.
Right.
I met her, and the way the pain with which she was talking. I said, you need to come on our show. Come and talk about this pain. Let them hear. Let the government hear. Let's do something. Let's move Nigeria forward. Health is one of the ways to go.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Health, education, those are the ways to go.
Basic.
Come and talk about that pain.
I think the real thing is, you know, for a lot of my practicing life, I didn't really depend on my income. I must be honest. Okay. So first, I was married. I am married. My husband was supporting the family, and then he had his own issues. And then I worked for Nigerian breweries. So in Nigerian breweries, I was being paid very well. Right. Although I was working as a doctor. Right. So I wasn't really earning
the hush.
Yeah, from being a doctor.
Right.
And then in 2010, I set up my own practice. Right. And wow, it's been
a struggle.
Let's just give a round of applause to those doctors who have stayed the years.
Right,
because it's not easy at all.
Somebody said something that would we rather us continue to build healthcare centers, because that was the government was trying to say, let us have as many healthcare centers. But somebody came on our show some years ago and said, listen, building multiple health centers is not going to be the solution. Equipping the ones we have. Because we are just having buildings.
Because
that's what she said now.
Fabio built a healthcare
Oh my
center.
goodness, I was there. I went there.
Are you serious? How was it?
Huge. Empty.
No doctor.
That was like 2 years ago. I don't know if this
I'll tell you, no, they brought in doctors.
Oh,
but a lot of the doctors they brought in were foreigners.
Expatriates.
And they were being paid in dollars. As soon as our exchange rate changed, it was no longer sustainable. It was not sustainable. So they left. And then to be honest, I know we're happy to go to India, we're happy to go to Dubai for healthcare. How many people will really be willing to go to Akwa Ibom for healthcare? We need to develop.
You'll be shocked.
I will go. The truth I don't have money to go to
the things
India.
that Nigerians face abroad, they are numerous. There's a case online now for a woman, a Benin woman, whose kidney was taken out for a minor surgery somewhere in Israel or India. She went for a minor surgery and they took her major organs. That's what they do to Africans. You'll be personally me. I cannot find something to another country. I will find what I can.
So one of the problems highlighted is the fact that young doctors, when they are done with their housemanship, they find it difficult to be placed in big hospitals. You need to know somebody. You need to have that connection for you to get that job, and it's a major problem. So is there anything we can do that once you are qualified, you can get the job? Because we have doctors that are ready to work.
Are we talking about residency training? I think that's where the challenge is. We don't have enough training institutions to train. So we're training maybe about 10,000 doctors, I think, per annum. I don't think our training institution, and which is what, to be honest, the Minister of Health had said and was also slightly misquoted in December. We don't have enough training institutions to mop up all the doctors who want to specialize. Now it's nowhere, I mean, it's unacceptable for a doctor to end their training with MBBS. We should all find some kind of specialty, and we don't have enough training institutions.
I have to round up very soon.
But the other challenge is that they all want to be in Lagos. So a lot of young people come to me and say, oh, please help me get a place to do my house job in Lagos. And I say, house job is just 1 year. Go anywhere. Go to Abeokuta, go to Ondo, go to Aba, go wherever. It's just 1 year. And then when you've gotten your house job, you're done with your house job.
Then come back.
Okay, so before you run away, and I don't know if we have more time, we had somebody on the show yesterday, I think, international, that was talking about the diaspora investment in Nigeria. And I think before you run away or before you decide to leave the country, maybe you should consider having some kind of partnership with international, because they're looking for trusted partners like you in Nigeria. So we have doctors abroad who say, you know, what can we do to build hospitals, to equip these hospitals in various states? Maybe you can be a good partner. So instead of packing up shop and going, it's time for you to maybe discuss with the special advisor to the president of diaspora. Maybe you can get partners to work with in Nigeria. Hopefully that should encourage you to stay.
Well, to be honest, even if I go, I'm just going for, I'm kind of too old to be relocated. So I'll probably just go for a sabbatical, a 1 year sabbatical. And then I'm much too old to be relocated.
All right, let's go on a break. When we come back, I'm not sure if we can continue this conversation, but we're going to talk in menopause later. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So Nigerian women like YK are becoming very aware of menopause. To some it's scary. To others, she didn't understand what I said.
She didn't hear
To
you.
others, it's a sign of relief. According to reports, 2.3% of women experience menopause before 40. Joining us on the show is a consultant gynecologist, Ms. Dr. Rotimi Adewoye. Welcome to the show, sir.
Welcome, sir.
You can call us again on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Okay. Menopause, obviously, is a...
relocating to?
Okay, so you think of relocating?
Well, I think I want to agree with my sister's position.
Wow.
That there is no doctor that is graduating today that will not take on relocating.
Okay.
Wow.
Where do you start? You are going to spend all the money you made in a month. Maybe you made 4 million. NEPA is bringing a bill of 1.2. You are buying a diesel of 2.5.
Council.
So if the infrastructures are not there, we cannot be talking about any good practice. They know. That's why they are running there.
Right.
Somebody puts in a room, the place is hot, everything you cannot. And that's why most people will not go to our public hospitals. But we must put it, like she said, that of all the states, Lagos is trying. At least it's still the gold standard. We want to look at.
But it's not enough. I mean, Nigeria is bigger than Lagos.
Yeah, well, that's nothing.
You should be too proud of that.
We should encourage those who are doing well.
True.
So that at least we can export their processes to others. Right. There are some other states we can say there is not even hospitals.
Okay, but you see, now that Wike has taken us there, let's just stay on it a bit. Okay, we understand that we don't have the infrastructure. We understand that young doctors would don't want to leave, obviously. But can we at least encourage those that are there to come home, provide an enabling environment for them to actually function? So if you've acquired the requisite experience, can we invite you home, make you comfortable, so at least you have the knowledge and you know what is required? Is that possible? You have the expertise.
With due respect, except we are deceiving ourselves. Who is in the diaspora that wants to come and do what? Look, in Nigeria as of today, government borrows money to farmers at 5 to 6%. And they want hospitals, that's farmers who are farming. Because they use the money, they know the farmers are not the ones taking the money. They would want taking the money from background, saying they are the farmers. The big farmers are in the cities. Doctors who are running hospital, you know their address, you know what they are doing. Who can use this money to buy equipment? You want them to come and to borrow at 25%. How are they going to do it? And in India, government will give their hospitals, their doctors, opportunity to borrow at around single digits. And that's why you will see industries, I didn't want to mention their names, some of these Indian hospitals coming up. They will go there, they will go and borrow money at 4-5%.
Come here.
Come and invest, and that's why they don't put the money at the place. They have to pay where they are borrowing money from. So if you say people in the zone should come, it is when they get here that they will know what we are going through.
Their eyes will clear.
It's not about bringing the money. It's about being able to sustain it.
I have a cousin who's a doctor, and I know he earns a lot of money. He tried to come back. he didn't even stay 1 month before he carried his igba and went back to his better job.
We are engaging them. I was the first vice president of the Nigerian Medical Association.
Okay.
And we encourage a lot of people. We know that except government decides to be serious, there can't be anything.
What about having a health trust fund like this? The former governor of Lagos had started the security trust fund when insecurity was at the highest here to curb it. So he kept assisting, had a pool of funds to assist the police. What about starting a health trust fund where people can, at every point put something together, and then this will be geared towards growing or equipping the facilities that we have?
Like many people have said, the problem is, can there be transparency? NMB, when the president of NMB was flying Ngige, he said they have suggested a trust fund. In fact, the truth of the matter is that Nigeria is a very foreign country. This health insurance they were talking about, NMB suggested it in the 60s.
Imagine.
When government was government, it was ignored. Now they are starting now. Now the way they are starting, which insurance are they doing? We used to ask them. It is those who can access health. Through their companies, through their, they gather together, they say, it's a fraudulent insurance. If they want to do insurance, let them go to the universal health coverage. Let me and you be covered. The essence is only when you are alive that you are a Nigerian. If you are dead, you are not a Nigerian. So if you don't take care of my health, you can say I'm a Nigerian. Yeah. So why are they running away from doing the normal thing? From spending money, spending money on their own people?
Do you think if they stop themselves from traveling outside the country, they will put their eyes here?
Will they stop themselves? Let's not be asking ourselves these questions.
Let's even look at it.
It's a very good question.
It's an option.
The thing is, they will not stop themselves.
Let me give you one funny thing. They can't. We should stop them. We are the problem.
Legislation.
There can't be fraudulent leadership without fraudulent followership. We are all fraudulent.
Yes.
Once you take 15 naira, 5,000, you vote to anybody, you don't even listen to. No, is there any political party that will tell you this is what I want to do? Unlike in the First Republic, UPN will tell you what they wanted to do. If I could remember that Segun Awolowo was in Ogun State University. He was brought and put in Ogun State University. It doesn't make him lesser than anybody's country. I remember I was in medicine, he was in law. And of course, people will say, I'm a lawyer, but it's obvious that those people, the leadership of them, are more patriotic than us. If you don't put your children in a school, How will you care whether that what happened in that school?
Okay.
If the governor of Lagos State, you go to any government hospital, do you think that hospital will not be properly? In fact, that day you will see everything that is not available to be available.
That
So
day.
don't let this until they start to patronize us.
I agree
There won't be anything.
I agree that they have to, that we should stop them.
Yeah.
But my point is,
How
they will
realistic?
not
How
stop.
do
How
we?
realistic? Unfortunately, we have to go on a break. I mean, I know we didn't bring you on for this, but it's a painful conversation to have. But we're going to break. When we come back, hopefully we'll start on menopause. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have with us our doctor here. Let's talk menopause. A lot of people recently have started experiencing menopause earlier than expected. You know, we thought it was people like Waike and 50s, you know, but from mid-30s, people have started talking about menopause. Why is it so early these days? What's going on? And for those who don't have an idea what menopause is, could you even define what it is in the first place?
Yeah, we'll start from there.
Menopause is a stage in a woman's reproductive life when the menstruation ceases and the natural reproductive potential of the woman ceases. But let me make, because I've seen some of the question. Let me just quickly say this, that two organs and two hormones control woman's system or female system.
Okay.
And one of the organs is the ovary. The other one is the uterus.
Yes.
One is to bring out the eggs that the sperm will fertilize. The other one is the uterus that will take the baby. But this ovary has two major functions: to produce the egg and to produce the hormones, estrogen and progesterone. And the amount of eggs inside the ovaries, as at around 20 weeks of gestation, even in utero, in the female, around 20 weeks of gestation, the egg is about 5 to 7 million of oogonia. It's a massive something. But by the time you are delivering the baby at birth, the egg number has reduced to about 2 million.
Okay.
You could see a depletion of about 7 million to about 2 million within 20 weeks to 40 weeks. So within 20 weeks, you have a depletion of over 5 million. From birth, which is 20 million, to when the woman starts to menstruate, the oogonia content has already depleted against about 300,000. So as at the time the woman starts to menstruate, the eggs in the ovary is around 300,000. Like I said, from around 5 million.
Right.
So that means, and you know, every month, the ovary has this cyclical function of producing egg, and in the process of producing those eggs, only one egg will ovulate. That's at bad. And you don't remember, you told you it's 300, around 300,000 that is remaining. Only one will ovulate. About 100 to 1,000 might get attracted, just like what was happening inside when the baby was in utero. So once you have one that's ovulates, so many become attractive. Because they are part of the ovulatory process, but they couldn't complete it. Yes. But only one will ovulate.
Yes.
Now, the number of that oogonia at a point in time, you know, women are women because they at a point there is menarche, the first menstruation. You know, by the time the ovary now produces enough hormone, the estrogens come up, the process, then you see the first menses. Then the woman starts to look like the woman because of the hormones. But from that point, whether the woman gets pregnant or not, you start to ovulate, you start to menstruate every month, until a point in time that all that eggs content of the ovary will get exhausted. All the eggs will get exhausted. But it's not a single day, it's not a sudden event. Okay. It's a gradual process. Okay. And that's why when you said the age of menopause is coming down, continue to, like, oh, maybe I didn't get what you are trying to say, because from time immemorial, we know that menopause usually starts from around age 45 to 55. 45 is a gradual process, but because it doesn't start in a day, and towards the time that it will happen, a lot of things start to happen, and they call it premenopausal period or climacteric. Then the menopause is then called, then there's postmenopause. But it has been known from time immemorial that if menopause will happen below age 40, then you call it premature menopause. It means, oh, this person is not supposed, and that's what you saw in that view, that if below 40, you saw it. But you see, a lot of things happens that can make the ovary to have problems. Diseases, like if you have diseases, they even work. If, for example, those who are working in X-ray departments, if they have if radiation into the ovaries and they are not protecting themselves very well, just like we are saying, many hospitals, they don't even have what to use to measure the signals. And yes, females are working there. So if you have radiation into this, or there is a disease, or those who have issues, this, maybe cancer, and they have to remove, they will remove the ovary. Castration is also part of premenopause. So those are the things that can be accounting for this menopause is coming.
Let me just quickly, you people are not there. Let me. You said post-menopause. What is that one again?
That's after the menopause.
Finish. Oh, your egg have finished, Abby?
After the, yes.
Oh, the egg have
after,
finished.
for you to say anybody is menopausal, that person must have ceased to menstruate for at least 12 months. No menstruation. Then after, we don't know. Then with all the other signs. Not that's because not seeing the menses does not mean there is a menopause. We must. And that's the area that people, they come to clinic and they will say, oh, we don't say amenorrhea. Hey, somebody gave me drugs, that's come. No. Yes. Amenorrhea does not seem menses. It's just one component of menopause. But there are times that if you are not ovulating well, if the egg is not coming well, you may not see your menses for 6 months, 3 months. And once they give you drug, it will come and it will restore it. That's not menopause.
So somebody
for you to say there is menopause.
Some people with amenorrhea, I suffered it.
Okay.
So how is menopause going to be like for those people? Now, this is because I have read that they're going to have a very difficult premenopausal, menopausal, and postmenopausal journey, that they will be always almost sick. I have PCOS and all that, and because of that, it's scary. Exactly how is it supposed to be? What are the hormones? Because these people are always having hormonal issues. What are the hormones that are important that they must have? Do you need to have it boosted with the synthetic hormones? For those people with amenorrhea naturally? You
see, there are many reasons for amenorrhea. In fact, it can be primary, it can be secondary. But for those who have been menstruating before and it stops, it is secondary. If the first thing is to determine what's the cause of this amenorrhea, you have mentioned when you said polycystic ovarian disease. Yes. In polycystic ovarian disease, what usually happens is that, like I told you, that many eggs will start to, at the beginning of menstruation, at the beginning of the cycle, many eggs will be brought into the processes of ovulation that month. It can be so many. It can be up to 100 can become attractive, 1,000 can be, we only want to. But in polycystic ovarian disease, the problem is that so many eggs enter the thing, but they don't get to ovulation. So you have so many eggs. It could be up to 10. You could, on the scan, you will see many eggs there. Because the cysts that we ovulate also look like cysts. So when you look at those things, they look like cysts. Yes. And you say, oh, this is polycyst. There are so many cysts. But the problem with polycyst is that you are the first aspect of the cycle, because the menstrual cycle is divided into 2 phases. The first cycle is the proliferative, in which the ovaries and the egg starts to develop.
I don't want us to get too medical because I'm getting lost.
I'm not. Because of the point you raised.
Okay,
let me put it. There are 2. When your menstrual cycle is divided, sharply into 2. The first phase is when the ovary starts to bring out the eggs. Then, if the eggs come out well, I'm no longer using medical term now. If they come out well, then on day 14, probably day 14, I'm just using that now. Then there will be ovulation. The eggs now come out of where it was. But once there is ovulation, before ovulation, what is being produced are estrogens. Because, like I told you, there are 2 organs. The ovary is producing the estrogen, but another organ somewhere, uterus, is what the hormone is acting on. So the uterus is getting proliferated. That's what we call proliferative phase. It's preparing to the uterus, must be getting ready for also what is happening in the ovary.
So that estrogen, what is it? When you say It's estrogen deficiency. What exactly is that one? Because from the map, my own has reached
No, estrogen deficiency means that estrogen level is low.
How important
What's
is
that?
estrogen? What's the
Estrogen, the two hormones control woman reproduction, estrogen and progesterone.
Okay, you will not pass low.
And what where it is produced
50
is the
something.
process of
Jesus Christ. Okay, go ahead.
is the process of ovulation, the monthly cyclical ovulatory process that produces them. Apart from adrenal gland that produces, but we won't go into that because we are discussing menopause.
Okay, let me even ask, before we get lost here, what are some of the signs and symptoms you expect before menopause comes?
Well, the one that usually make women to really
Panic.
not panic, that really make them to first comfort is this issue of the vasomotor symptoms.
The what?
We call it okay. Let me. Hot flushes.
Hot flashes.
Hot flashes.
So hot flushes and they will just sit down and suddenly you can see as if somebody pour hot water on you. Even in workplace you might be uncomfortable, and that's why in some countries where they have good health system, they even have menopause policy in workplaces. That this one has been doing very well. Then there is emotional instability.
Okay.
Mood swings. Somebody who has been doing well might just rather than you fighting them, because they have such policy, they know this one is it. Then they can talk to her, then they assist her, because many people don't want to discuss menopause. Even with their colleagues, they won't. But it's a natural thing that should be discussed.
Talk about natural thing. For a young woman who is not yet married, she hasn't had a child before, and she's approaching 45, and she's saying to herself, can she delay this menopause? Is there something we can do to delay such that at least she's fertile enough? And we always hear also on the other country, people like 60-year-old women say, I got pregnant, so for the first time, is that possible? So does that defy that natural process of menopause?
The truth is, menopause is a natural process.
Okay.
And I have given you the journey that, look, this egg will get exhausted at a point.
Okay.
Not for that egg not to be exhausted, there's nothing you can do.
But can I delay it?
No, it depends on your own system, your makeup.
Okay.
If you have enough egg reserve, the only thing you can do in advanced countries is that you can go and
freeze your egg.
You can freeze your egg.
Expensive.
Or secondly, you can do. But the process of the IVF is to freeze the egg, then do it later. But that there's anything you can use to prolong that thing.
There's nothing you can do.
It's a natural
estrogen
process.
tablets you can take. There are estrogen tablets you can take that will
improve your estrogen level.
That will.
That's a different thing. It's the first thing is that menopause must wake up.
Okay.
If menopause comes, then you decide, what do I do? Don't forget that it's not everybody that have serious menopausal syndrome. It's only about 25% that are usually affected. About 75% of men can still go around without, but they will have it slow latent. But you see, for those that are severely affected, you then decide, what do you do? There are so many drugs that can be used. But we know that the most potent and effective one is what we call estrogen replacement therapy. And that's the area you are. So they are using it to now make sure that what is lost is being replaced. What is being produced every month by that ovarian cycle is estrogen and progesterone. So if it is not affecting because going to menopause is not an issue of menstruation alone. That's the one we can see. The bone is having problem.
All my bones are having
problems. In fact, that's why women have fractures more.
Wow.
Because if you get to the villages, you will see some old women, they are something we collapse, they be walking like this. It's because the vertebrae has collapsed.
Why she's wearing high heels?
Then she must be careful. She may not be. She may be. She has given us a. She has given us a.
65%.
She has given us a. How do I put it? Something that I might be on hormone replacement. So if you are on hormone replacement,
she may be
you can still do your normal thing. But however, she must be careful of high heel because the fractures are common.
So you were saying that it's not just the menstruation, the bones are affected. What other parts are affected?
Everybody, every part of the body that estrogen is sustaining. The vagina, that's why they are showing those pictures. The urethra mucosa, the bladder, every surfaces that estrogen works on. In fact, the real hormone of women is estrogen.
Oga, wait.
Nima.
You talked about emotional imbalance. What do you call it now?
Mood swings.
So mood swings. I think you should advocate it very well here, so that our husbands will know.
No, that
because
is
some people will start to divorce their wives.
No, it's not even divorce. A
serious
woman with
issue.
mood swings can kill her husband.
Yes.
No, the mood swing is not as bad as
That one is
as
depression.
depression. Thank you, my God.
depression.
There is difference between
Depression.
no.
Look, excuse me.
Kill husband.
Wait, let me ask you this question. You are all young women. Let me ask you this question. Towards your period, do you get some moods where if somebody you can
I
give
get
them
cranky.
a hot slap,
That's when I fight with Nima
you
the most.
fight?
That's
When
mood
I'm
swings.
about to.
I'm not a girl.
That's mood swings. So when you are going into menopause, it's no different.
It's more-
it's just worse. So at that time, your husband.
The mood swings of menopause is different from
Depression.
But you see, you have to distinguish between the two.
Brief
Mental
brief
illness.
moment
The
of
doctor is talking, don't worry.
madness.
It's not
I mean,
menopause.
he has never experienced.
Let me ask.
I have.
Let me jump in.
I was told that when you start having irregular flows, like during the menstrual cycle, sometimes it's heavy and sometimes
It's light.
Yes, it's very light. Is there a way to tell you that, okay, you're approaching menopause? So?
No, it depends. You see, it has to be in totality. You look at the age.
Okay.
If somebody is having regular for 30 years, you can't be thinking about menopause.
Middle 30s.
You can't be thinking about menopause. There are so many things that can cause that. But you can think about an ovulatory cycle. The person might not be ovulating.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you don't ovulate, there is what we call dysfunctional uterine bleeding.
Okay.
You could, in an ovulatory cycle, bleeding will just come erratically and irregularly. Because the bleeding of menstruation is a controlled bleeding.
Okay.
God is a perfect creator. The whole thing comes in a designed way. But once there is no ovulation, the bleeding becomes
Irregular.
I have to go on a break very soon, but there's a woman out there, she's in her 50s possibly, and she's never been married, and she really wants to have a child. And she's gone through that post-menopause, maybe in the women's, and she wants to have a child. Does she have any chance? I mean, is there a possibility?
Yes.
Is there a possibility that there's an egg available strong enough to carry a child?
If she has gone into menopause, what you have told us is that there is no longer egg.
Hey.
But once you are in menopause,
She's going through.
Sometimes
there is a difference between perimenopausal period and menopause. Menopause means you have not seen your menses for the last 12 months. And you are having the
Well,
feelings.
people have come to my church to give testimony. 60-year-old woman pregnant.
Let's leave miracle. Okay. We are talking medicine now because in medicine, it must be tested, it must be trusted, and it must be reproducible. It's what happened here that must happen in US, that must happen in Britain. So let's leave the other one. But then, like that woman, there is IVF.
period.
She can still go and take egg from somebody.
Okay.
Hey.
Let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation on menopause and take some calls and tweets. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You don't even forget.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. I think Obiajuli has some tweets.
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
Obeniza says, women's alimentary canal is so complicated. Honestly, God's ways are mysterious. Lilian Mujaye says, some doctors in Nigeria are paid as little as 50K with many stringent working conditions. After going through such a rigorous training process, I won't blame them for leaving the country. The situation here is just appalling.
Christian Shaibu says, Doc, it's not like someone poured hot water on you. You just break out in a sweat, your face pours with water, you need to be under a fan. A handheld fan is your best friend in menopause.
Shegun Okeshola says, an idea. Can 2 or 3 states be developed as a medical hub, fully equipped, stocked and staffed to stem medical pilgrimage? Maybe this will evolve to solve our medical problems like GSM has solved communication today.
Yeah.
I guess.
And Oyeyemi says, at 44, I'm still seeing my menses. I have been burning, I have a burning sensation on my feet for 2-3 years now. Wow. And I've been giving Biko, I don't know. And
44, is that normal?
44 she's not,
supplements.
She can still see her menses till 50, 54, 55.
I think I was...
In Britain, the average age of menopause is 51. Here in Nigeria, we use 40-something to 53. But like I said, it's between 45 to 55.
How
so
old am I
if
now? About 51, 52, I was still seeing my period.
so yes, it's around 53 here.
I hope to be done with
It's
this thing
brilliant
by
that it's
45.
51.
Why are you rushing
I'm
now?
done with this
You will
thing.
still have another child. Sir, do we still...
Is there a possibility that nature helps you delay this? I'm talking for those people who don't start periods early, go into periods are not regular, have suffered one ailment. Is there is PCOS an advantage in helping? Because of course, the polycystic ovarian syndrome, is it an advantage that it helps not producing the right hormones at some time to delay menopause coming?
It's not that it's not producing the PCOS is producing some hormone, but it's not producing in a how do I put it, regular in a fraction that it should be in a proper fraction. At the first phase, the estrogen is being produced, and that's why there is stimulation of the uterus. But because there is no ovulation, after ovulation, the next phase is that estrogen will start to, progesterone will be produced. Yeah. That will not act on the uterus to prepare the uterus for the baby. So it makes the uterus that is growing to not become coiled, soft, and cool. The problem with people with PCOS and cool, if it's not treated, is that the patient is anovulating, the uterus has been apoplastic, so it could be a precursor for uterine cancer in the future. And that's why people say, oh, when you are not ovulating, please treat. But the number of eggs there is there. The eggs are coming up every month, but they are not getting to maturation. So they are becoming atretic, they are becoming atretic. So what they needed to do is to treat the patient, such a patient to ovulate. And once they have to ovulate, everything will be normal.
Sir, final question.
Yes,
so this menopause sounds to me like your body is shutting down as a woman. Can you still be sexually active after menopause?
Ask Kweki.
I don't know why you ask this doctor when I'm here.
Let me first correct the first impression.
Okay.
That is as if the body is shutting down. The body is not shutting down.
You mentioned
I have just, yes, I'll tell you. It's a matter, it's a period.
Okay.
It's a range.
Okay.
Everybody will shut down at a point in time. But you see, at the point that if menopause come at 45, 50, some people are still go to school after menopause.
Okay.
But the point is, if the menopause doesn't disturb them, not everybody has much disturbance with menopause. Like I said, the study of menopause in Wales also go into menopause like a human being. It is after menopause that they become very active for their community and the Wales community.
So
because it means that there must be a reason where there is menopause. Okay. But in humans, when you get to menopause, 3 things could happen.
Okay.
Some will have their libido
same. Okay.
Let's just make it for benefit of this talk. Let's say 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. 1/3 will have their libido remained. It just be like it is. So the husband can still manage. Some will have it reduced because of the hormonal influence. Okay. Reduced to the extent that they can be having problem with the husband. For such person can be treated. Okay. With bone replacement therapy and maybe query testosterone therapy if that one doesn't work. Then 1/3 we even have it increased.
I choose that 1/3.
That's why we have issues with the husband. Because the husband
Stay your own.
Which one are you?
Number 1.
No, you're not number 1.
We didn't talk about this matter. How has it been after menopause? Has it been better? Has the other room matters been better?
The other room, it depends on the man. Everything is, am I complaining?
Okay, let's leave the other room. But how has life been post-menopause?
I think the most fantastic part for me is not having periods.
Yeah.
That's, and I used to have very painful ones, so I think I really don't feel much, not really, not like before when the first show first started, I would just be sitting down inside this cold AC, sweating. I'd be like, or someone would be interviewing me on the red carpet or something, and I just break out in sweat. Very embarrassing. One girl was interviewing me. She says, why are you sweating like this? I looked at her and thought, don't worry, home will come. Because and that's the thing. Every woman is going to go through it.
That's right.
Not everyone has hot flushes, but if the hot flushes will be replaced with something else. But I wanted to ask, with menopause, do you put on weight? Does it cause because I was telling me, I see a lot of women put on extra weight, especially around the midriff. No, is that menopause?
No, there's not menopause. Weight gain usually starts in women around 40. weight gain usually, but it is the same hormone that are responsible. Yes, you
We are
find out
coming,
that.
right?
You see,
I
when you
reject
talk
it in
about
Jesus' name. Back to sender.
You will see.
Back to sender.
Jesus will not answer you in this
I
matter.
say you are rejecting.
Jesus will not answer you in this matter.
Sir, continue what I'm saying, Jerry.
what you even is not even what you are describing is not even weight gain. It's adipose layer deposition, where you have fatty things or where it's usually around 40, 45 that they do that. And this is function of what they eat and the hormones.
They're not working out.
And the way they move. But if they do the exercises, and I must say that I even remember that even post-menopause, exercise is still very important for
She
women.
works out.
Not very strenuous one. When you do the exercises, it makes the bone
I am
and
still
everything.
breastfeeding. Thank you very much. And I'm allowed to eat.
The matter is still touching you.
He's touching me now. All right, but I think that's all we can take on that. But thank you very much, sir, for coming. I think it's important to know that, especially one of the reasons I want to talk about this is, aside from those who are actually experiencing menopause, those who really are concerned about childbirth, especially when that time comes, it's a major concern for a lot of women. And you've said they can freeze their eggs ahead of time, and they can also do IVF. So we hope that they can get some solutions from this conversation. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for coming.
All right, did you know that we have a TVC app? You can download it both on Android phones and iOS stores. The app allows you to watch us from anywhere in the world. Tell your friends and family so they would not miss your view anytime. Tomorrow is our live audience show. Please come early so you can get a seat. Have a fabulous day. See you then. Bye-bye.